I was on the phone with a client yesterday who asked me this question. Adrian, how can I get my ex to think about me constantly? And it made me chuckle. And I wrote it down, and I wanted to come into the studios today to kind of talk about this question with you and to provide you with guidance if you are wondering the same thing. So if you want to know how to get your ex to think about you constantly, this is the perfect video. By the way, my name is Coach Adrian, love and relationship coach, and this is what I do. I help individuals, men, women, young and old, all over the world to rebuild healthy relationship with someone that they love and lost. And so what I told this young man when he asked me this question was that the first step towards getting your ex to think about you constantly was to knock them off of that pedestal that you have them on. When you ask this question, it can be rooted in one of two things. Either it is ego, and you are simply trying to have the last laugh and to have things happen on your terms, which I will discard here. Or it is because you are infatuated. You love this person so much that you want them to love you in the same way. And if that is the case, you're putting them on a pedestal, and it becomes very difficult for someone to be attracted, to want to spend time with you, and to think about you constantly if you are putting them on that pedestal and sucking up all of the oxygen in this dynamic. You need to value yourself more. And you can't be as desperate for their attention and their validation. Otherwise, it repulses them. And so what I told this young man was that it was first and foremost a process that he had to undergo with himself in order to put himself at least as an equal in terms of the importance and the energy that he is given himself about his own well-being and what is most important for him. In his list of priorities and goals that we worked on, the number one thing could not be his ex and something linked to the validation that his ex would give him. So it might be paradoxical to a lot of you that a coach that specializes in helping you rebuild your relationship is telling you to not make that the priority. But I'm intentional and deliberate in asking you to do this because I know that if that is your priority, you are going to make all sorts of mistakes. The actions that are going to kind of be spun out of the reality of the fact that this is your priority are going to be that you're going to give an excess of love, attention, and importance that pushes you further away from your goal of rebuilding a healthy relationship. So the goal is not obviously to just simply get your ex to think about you constantly. The goal is to get them to think about you constantly so that you can then reconnect in a healthy way and then rebuild the type of relationship that you know that you can build with them and the type of relationship that you both deserve. So essentially, while you're working on this process of personal transformation and while you're battling your emotions, your fears, your egos, at the same time, it is important to give them the time and the space to think about you constantly. They're not going to think about you constantly because you're bombarding them with messages. And this is something that I see all the time. You want your ex to think about you so you don't want too much time to pass without reaching out to them. But by doing that, unfortunately, it has, again, the inverse effect. They're thinking about you, but they wish they were not thinking about you, and they're starting to resent you in that process. And so this is the magical element of this process. The more you give space, the more they want to lean in, and the more they want to be able to spend time with you. The more you don't need them, the more you're happy without them, the more they think about you, and the more they want to partake in that space that you're in. Also, it is very important for you to radiate positivity. We want to be around people that uplift us, that push us to be better, that show us a good time, that are also just positive and easygoing. And so it's very important for you to start to cultivate positivity. You want to smile, you want to be optimistic and hopeful and joyful. And you want to be able to convey that both through your words and through your actions. Not to your ex, but to those around you, because that is what is accessible and safe at this time after a breakup. But by doing so, you're going to start to build this muscle, and it will become part of you. And so when you communicate with your ex, the next time that you interact with them or see them, they're going to feel that something is different about you, and they're going to be attracted to you, and they're going to start to think about you more and more, because they're not going to recognize the person that you've become. At first, they may be resentful because you're going to do a lot of the things that they always wanted you to do. But trust me, they're going to be thinking about you, and they're going to want to see if that change is sustainable. Another element of the attraction process has to be your looks. You need to look your best. If you're proud of the way that you look, if you feel good, you're going to also radiate a certain energy, and your ex will take notice of that. And if you're in a period of no contact, or if they have no means of seeing that change, it's okay. You're doing this for yourself first and foremost. And it's a new mindset and a new habit that we are building, that you're not going to leave your house unless you feel really good about yourself. And in a way, this will also force you to combat a lot of the things that lead to despair and depression and negative self-image and doubt. When you feel good about the way you look, you are a lot less likely to slump, to cut yourself off from the world, and to do things that just won't enable your ex to see you in a different way, and won't encourage them to see you in a new way. Finally, you want to make sure that you're going to engage in new challenges. The more you challenge yourself, the more you engage in new projects, the easier it will be to get your ex thinking about you once you convey this new, exciting things to them. It can be going on a trip. It can be conquering a fear. It can be really doing something spontaneous, something that you would never have done in the past. And the more you're able to start to cultivate those things, the more likely your ex is going to be to think about you constantly, whether they see it or not. This is something that is not mystical, but based on data and experience, I have seen time and time again situations where as you start to evolve, exes are more likely to reach out to you. And perhaps this has even happened to you. Perhaps it's not the ex that you want to reach out to you that does, but you see that as you start to engage in this process, you become a magnet. And I know that you can do this. And I am here to support you. Our entire team actually is here to support you. You can book a private coaching session via the link below, or you can continue to dig deeper into our philosophy and understand both the theoretical, but also how to take action the right way by taking the next step and clicking on our private videos that are more comprehensive and in-depth, that are reserved for members of our community. They're free and accessible to you, and they're at just one click away. Either way, you can get your ex to think about you in a healthy way, and you can get your ex to want to be with you and to see you in a new light. I think that that is the goal when you ask this question. I see it happen daily, and I encourage you to continue to focus on the fundamentals of your breakup recovery, to take it one step at a time, to not rush, and to not do anything that is not pure-hearted and with the right intentions. The goal is to repair a healthy relationship with this person that you actually care about deeply, not to just manipulate them in order for you to have the last laugh. But if you're watching our videos, you're probably fighting the good fight and you already know this. But I needed to say it as a disclaimer. Again, thank you for your trust. If you have not done so yet, I encourage you to subscribe to our new podcast where you can listen to us on the go while exercising or driving. And it's a lot safer than watching our YouTube videos while driving, because I know that a lot of the friends, members of our community, are so connected to our content that they have done this in the past. So it is just our way, again, of providing you more content and trying to be closer to you during this most critical period of your life. Thank you. Keep fighting the good fight, and see you very soon.